Hi, Ned Miller from MZ Veerley Consulting with some tips for sales managers on how to free up their own time so that they can work more effectively with their teams. A lot of sales managers that I know say they'd like to spend more time coaching and going out on calls with their team members. The truth is they aren't doing enough of it, and they complain about the lack of time. This is an issue for many people, not just sales leaders. But I'm going to give you 3 things that as a sales manager you can do that'll free yourself up and maybe find ways to free up your team members. The first thing is to conduct a time audit. Now I know this is going to take time, but if you assign this for say a 2 or 3 week period for a portion of your team, say 3 of the members of your team, to see how they're actually spending their days, this would be something that you could probably learn a good deal from yourself. So I'd encourage you to do it as well. But a time audit will uncover where people are spending productive and unproductive time. Generally speaking, people are horrified to discover the amount of time that's wasted in meetings, answering mindless kind of requests from others, and in email. Second thing you can do is look very closely at the activities that your team members are actually engaged in and try to shift non-customer activities to other staff. I know this can be difficult in an age of lean staffs. There aren't a lot of administrative folks with excess capacity in most teams. But if you start to shift the responsibilities for certain tasks, you may be surprised at how that actually does free up your team members. One of the banks that I've worked with discovered a way to free up each relationship manager for an extra 1.5 hours a week. Now that may not sound like a lot, but if you assume that it takes about 1.5 hours to make a sales call, that's adding another sales call each week, which over the course of the year adds up to 40 or 50 extra calls. That can be very important for your team's success. The third and most important thing from my standpoint is for you personally to assess your routines. If you stop and think about the things that you're doing on a weekly basis, the weekly sales meetings that you're running, the one-on-one coaching sessions that you're scheduling, the calls that you're making, if it's not exactly what it needs to be today, you have a chance to make changes going forward. You're not, after all, a tree. You can move and do things. One of the suggestions I would make regarding meetings is that you get some feedback, not only from your team members about what they like and maybe what they don't like about your meetings, but ask a colleague, ask your boss to sit in and give you some feedback. A second thing, when it comes to one-on-one coaching, if you're not scheduling that in your calendar every week, blocking out the time for each of your team members on a regular basis, you're probably going to run the risk of missing some opportunities to do that. So one-on-one coaching has to be scheduled. These 3 things: time audit for your team, trying to shift non-customer activities to others, and assessing your own routines with an eye to trying to improve them and become more effective in the things you do, are 3 ways that as a sales manager you can help your team and help yourself in this environment.